Nation? Welcome to this edition of Nation Night Fights Weekly Boxing Report Special Interview Edition. I am your boy, HiJacker Mike, and this show is presented by Our Nation Sports Show, where you get your weekly boxing reports, fight cards, updates, fight results, future fights, rankings, and special interviews like today, the very first. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me introduce you our guest for tonight. During the start of this interview, Zoom had a glitch, so the first few minutes of the interview was lost, but we were able to catch up and still get a good 30-minute interview with our guest. So here, let me introduce our guest to you and get into the interview. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you a former professional boxer in the heavyweight division, who as an amateur won over 80 bouts, as well as winning the Pennsylvania State heavyweight title. He was heavily praised for his hand speed and footwork, which was said to be unusual for heavyweight boxers. In 2007, he would win the vacant USBA heavyweight title with a 7th round TKO versus Derek Rossi. In 2010, he would become the mandatory challenger for the WBO World Heavyweight title, which was held by Vladimir Klitschko at the time. Klitschko at the time was noted saying today's guest was the best American boxer right now at the time going into their fight. He also was ranked number 2 heavyweight contender by the Ring magazine. In his professional career, he had a total of 47 fights with a record of 42 wins, 5 losses, with 23 coming by the way of KO. I introduced to the nation former professional heavyweight boxer from the city known as the City of Brotherly Love, the Fighting City of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Fast Eddie Chambers. What year was that he fought Leonard?
Man, I wish I could. I don't even want to lie, but I know it was just maybe, I think sometime in the early 70s, maybe, yeah, something like that. I know he fought in the 70s, but I think he fought even earlier than that. So I'm not 100% sure, but he definitely fought him in the amateur. So like that was a long time ago for me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even born when it happened. So
gotcha. Do you know if there's any footage of that fight or no?
He did have footage of some of his fights as an amateur. My dad had about 150 amateur fights, which I was, wow, couldn't believe it either. He tried. I don't know how many national tournaments he went to. I know he didn't win any. And back then, boxing was king. Everything was going on over there with boxing. So, and he was a 132 pounder. And look at me, big fat guy at heavyweight, but he was 132 when he was fighting.
Well, so, man, you had some amazing foot and speed and handwork during your career, man. You were agile. You know, looking at a lot of your fights, when your opponent would attack, if you got hit with a 1-2 punch, that third and fourth punch coming, you were able to move quickly out the way and surprise your opponent. So you had some good footwork and hand speed yourself.
Thank you. To be honest, the 1-2 I wasn't trying to be there for either. But yeah. the first, the reason we're having this conversation and me talking the way I can is because, once again, my dad had one of the first things I did when I came into the gym was get in the ring and exchange shots. So
okay.
I would literally, the very first day I came in to compete, I was sparring. Now I had a tiny bit of experience before, in the house with him working out things, but I think that was when I was 9 years old. I didn't start competing until like 13, 14 years old. 13 I was. So, there was a lot I had to, relearn, like wrapping my hands, little things like that, little small nuggets of knowledge like that I can forget over time if you don't do it. Then after figuring out how to wrap my hands or get my hands wrapped, I'm jumping right in the ring with one of the young guys who actually was experienced and did actually really well, which was surprising to me because I had no confidence back then. But I guess this was my sport. You know what I mean? So it kind of shocked me. I'm not a fighter, my mentality is not for that.
Yeah, I understand. So as you were coming up, watching your dad fight a little bit, who were some of your idols coming up in the boxing game?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, there's so many. The first real guy that I really was a big fan of, and trust me being a heavyweight had nothing to do with the fact, and well, I say with the fact, but with who I really idolized growing up. I always liked the lighter weight fighters because I was always a big skill guy. You know, not saying that heavyweights don't have skills, but they absolutely do.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be overshadowed by their size and sheer strength and athleticism at that size. So for me, it was always like, well, Shane Mosley was a big favorite of mine when I came in. Big time favorite. Like, man, I watched that dude so much. I even watched his training footage and tried to do whatever he did. You know what I mean? Then, you know, as I got to know more about boxing, started to understand more, and not just seeing who the guys were and the personality and how talented they were, how strong he was, or whatever. With Shane, he was very skilled, but at the same time, there was a lot of things he was lacking. Now he's an all-time great. What can I really say about Shane? But you know, there's certain things, you know, that of course, if you want to be critical of a great fighter, there's always the little things. So once I watched him, and then I started to watch other guys like Floyd Mayweather, and now my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorites was James Toney.
James Toney.
He has
lights out.
So much skill. Like, it ain't even about the lights out. The lights out was just like it was like something to, like, I don't know, for a regular person that really doesn't watch boxing or understand the sport of boxing, kind of falls. Oh, he lights out. He knocks everybody out. Oh, I want to watch him. There's so many things that guy can do defensively and offensively, and he has so much heart at the same time. It's like, to try some of the things that he tried and done over the years and made a part of his game takes a lot of heart, a lot of balls. Pause. Sorry. I didn't want to say it like that. Sorry. That's the show. You know what I mean? But it takes a lot, man. And James had it in abundance, man. It was like, when I watched that guy fight, man, I literally tried to mimic. I worked on that stuff day in and day out. One of my best performances in a loss that I had was with Tomas Adamic. I literally watched his fight almost every day in camp. You know what I'm saying? Almost every day in camp, just to really pick up a lot of what he did. And it's hard to kind of pick up those kind of things in one camp, believe me.
Yeah.
But I tried it. You know, it was great. He was great. Another one is Holyfield. Vander Holyfield got the heart of 10 men, and just and he has great skill. Don't underestimate the skill that he had too.
Yeah.
But in overall just ability and athleticism, he had it all. To come from 175 up to heavyweight and do that too is an accomplishment. Not only that, but be a 3 to 4 time world champ. Amazing. So, you know, man, those guys, those are some of the guys. I mean, there's obviously much more. Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? What he was able to do. I loved them all, man. All of them. I was a huge boxing guy.
Definitely. You also picked up pretty much the year after Holyfield did the USBA heavyweight title, correct?
Yeah, I did. One of the things I did, kind of one of the, you know, I don't want to make it like it's not a big deal, because I guess it is to some degree. Some people never get the opportunity to do that. But
yeah,
man, I wanted much bigger, much more than that. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Now I want to ask you a question. As you've been training, because you've been in the cruiserweight and the heavyweight division during your career, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Okay. Now I know heavyweights. You know, we know heavyweights are known for haymakers and jabs. You know, strong punching.
Yeah.
How hard is it as you go into a fight, as you get into the 6th, 7th, 8th rounds? How hard is it to hold your gloves up and keep that leather in front of you and keep blocking? You know, especially when your opponent comes at you with a barrage of shots. How hard is it? Because people don't understand. By that 8th, 9th round, those gloves feel like bricks on your hand.
Well, see, what happens is the more time you spend doing anything, the easier it becomes to deal with, even things that would amaze people. You know what I mean? So for me, and if you watch my fights in the past, you know I like to keep my hands high.
Yes.
You know, throughout most of the fight. And, you know, actually, the first 3 or 4 rounds, I'll be kind of elusive, making you miss completely, rather than taking shots on the arms later in my career more so than earlier. But I would still spend most of the fight walking big guys down with my hands up high. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of really being in the right condition and expecting to go many rounds. So needing to be in the kind of shape where you can succeed. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
The problem with a lot of guys is they want to be front runners. You understand what I'm saying? They want to start ahead. They want to start in control. And even I, at times, was like that too. Instead of being ready to sometimes dig down and have to win the fight later, take over the fight at the end. Know that you're going to have to go the distance and use your skill, stamina, and overall ability to take it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get like some of these big guys, man, and they get to the 5th, 6th round, and they're like, they can barely pick their, like you said, they can barely pick their hands up.
Yeah.
and it's hard for them to compete at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's so important. Conditioning. That's one of the things my dad did for me. He made me so scared to be out of shape.
Oh,
He
I
told me
bet.
so many stories about him being out of shape. So
I bet.
getting in there and getting beat up.
So, what was one of your biggest pet peeves on conditioning?
Oh, I hated running. I still hate running.
I bet.
I love basketball. Basketball, there's a lot of running in basketball, but if it got something to do with that, I'll run. So what I try to do is like a lot of my cardio training
Yeah.
when I was fighting a lot more, kind of involved with basketball a little bit, but it never really worked. And then I had to completely get away from it because I really, really had to focus on my career.
Yeah.
And, I just hated running. And even I could do it, and it wasn't really that hard. I tried to put music on, try to make it fun. And I wasn't the long distance guy. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't mind doing it, but then I always, I was always running with my brother. My brother was 140 pounds. And
Wow.
keeping up with him was like literally chasing a deer around the park. And it's like, dog, I'm like, man, well, I got to keep running with this dude. Not in a sprint, I might have a better shot. But if we run in long distance, remember, I'm 210, 215 pounds and stuff at that time. Now, when I got a little bit older, a little bit further in the game, I dropped more weight and realized how much more athletic and how agile I was, or I could have been.
Yeah.
But running with him and sometimes coming into camp out of shape, man, it was a confidence kill, man. Like I'd be watching him flying around the track and I'm chasing him, and I'm like, oh my God. And then it just took twice as much work for me to get those results. And it's like, man, whatever. But I still hated running.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. I played football for 18 years, so I understand what you mean on the running. When you're on the field, and like you say, when you're on the court chasing, covering your opponent, that seems to be fine. But when you're out there running for conditioning and you're by yourself, that's tough.
Oh, you gotta have, man. It would be nice if you can actually watch a movie while you're doing it. Maybe that might keep you, but you can't. You gotta focus, and it's crazy,
Yeah.
man. I hated it, but hey, I did it. You got to do it.
You got to do it if you want to put in the work.
Well, you know what?
What's that?
My time going over with Tyson Fury and Peter Fury and those guys made you realize how much you did not need to. He qualified as I know a lot of boxing people will be like, what? Not need to run? Are you high? I'm like, no. Trust me. There are so many other ways to get your body prepared for a fight, cardiovascular wise. There's an anaerobic, there's aerobic, there's all kind of different things you could do that really will prepare you, properly prepare you for a fight pace. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to kind of, like if you want to get out and have long distance running and sprint every now and again, that's cool. You can do the normal thing. But trust me, man, I was on exercise bikes. I was doing stair climbers. I was doing like circuits in the gym with weights. It was a cardiovascular work. It make you almost fall out.
Yeah.
And every time I got into a fight, I was more than prepared for 12 rounds with those guys, even though I was 20 pounds heavier with a whole lot of muscle. So there's definitely other ways to do it if you hate running.
Gotcha. Now, were you a video gamer or a video gamer now growing up?
What? Are you asking this? You asking a guy like a guy from this generation? What? Video games was born in my generation, man. You already know.
I understand. I came up with the Nintendo and Atari with you, brother.
Oh, yes.
But I wanted to ask you, how did it feel to become a part of EA Sports Fight Night Round 4?
It felt so good. I would do it for free. That's how good it felt. Just to not have to worry about creating my character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All those years we had to create our character, but you got to live that dream being in the game.
Man, listen. Right now, there's a new game coming out. And why now is my career kind of slowing down when I'm seeing all these other new cats about to be on this new game that they got coming out that looks like real life boxing. Yeah. It makes me kind of upset. I feel like I'm a little gypped with the whole thing. Like, man, I want my guy on there too. About to have another fight just for that. You know what I'm saying? That makes me mad. But hey, what can you do? But it was to be able to just literally go and I remember this was like maybe a few years before I started to slow down. Before I started to be at the height of it, where I started fighting, Dimitrenko, Vladimir and Povetkin and all of those level guys, right? I was I was still creating my character on, I think it was Fight Night. Is it round
2 or 3?
right now? Fight Night round one of those. It was no, it was the first Fight Night, the very first Fight Night.
Okay.
Yes,
Round
the
1.
first Fight Night. And I remember creating my character on there, and that's the one that had Big Tigger on as the ring announcer.
Yes.
You know, I know this game, man. I remember I look. I'm gonna tell you this tiny little story. I fought this dude on there, and the guy was rated the top 100 online. Right, this is when they just when they started the online thing.
Online, yeah.
And the guy was kind of, I mean, he was being nice, but he was kind of talking crap a little bit, like how good he was. He had no idea it was a real guy, like I really fought and everything. And I told him a little bit about that. But I used to use the analog stick, the punch, at that time before they really started making the adjustment.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, this is why you can't. When you fight a guy at my level, can't use the analog stick. I was beating him down, and he was like, man, I can't believe you should have told me to use the sticks, because he started using the buttons.
Yeah.
And you can button mash back then and kind of win, you know what I mean, just with activity. But if you use the sticks, it would be like you would be a little slower, so you would have to literally do like fight like Floyd Mayweather on there. But anyway, I did well with him. At the end, he ended up getting the decision by a little bit. And he's like, damn, man, I ain't even know that. Now that you tell me you're a fighter, I believe you, seeing what my IQ was in the game, right? Then I fought this dude that was ranked number 4, and I was beating him down, and he quit. And that was back before, if you quit, you didn't get penalized for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were able to back out.
He backed out. And I was like, I was about to be ranked.
And it didn't go on his record because he was able to back out before they hit you with a loss.
Right. That was before that. So seeing people learn all kind of little slick little things they do. Yeah. They unplug their system. Oh, we got disconnected. Like,
yeah.
Dog. He was getting beat down.
It was kind of like playing Madden back in the day. There was 3 plays on the offensive book that you as a defense could not stop. And everybody online kept throwing those same plays to the halfback out the backfield. So I know what you mean when cats would unplug the game and back out of their fight.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't directed at you.
No, good. All good.
But yeah, man. I remember there was a lot of money plays. Not to say a lot. There was a few money plays that you had. And like with Madden, and I never really played Madden online, but I played 2K a lot online. 2K9 was my game. If I played that online, I was one of the better ones online with it. I had a really good record at one point.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was good enough to beat the top guys. But I guess it's like, you play the one guy, you lose to him, you might play somebody who's better and beat them just because of the style of play. You know what I mean? That you use. So there's always different little nuggets of things that you can use to kind of play to your advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm definitely a gamer.
Oh, cool. Same here. It's a great, and that's a workout itself too, because you got to have that hand-eye coordination going.
About this generation, our generation, a lot of times they give us a lot of grief. Oh, I thought I heard something. They give us a lot of grief about the whole gaming thing. Not so much us sitting in front of the computers, because we were around when the internet and all that started to come up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we weren't really, like, we still, like, I want to go out and play ball versus, even though I love 2K and all that, I still rather go out and play than play the game all day. So it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Do I have music? I'm sorry if I do. My bad. If I'm messing up the sound.
No, it got muffled for a minute there, but it's no problem. We got you. Okay. So
1 second, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You still good on time?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No problem. You can hear me?
My bad. I had to cut that off.
Okay.
Cool.
You're still good on time?
Yeah, I got a couple more. A few more minutes, we're good.
Okay. All right. When you were in the ring, out of the 4 styles of boxing, what did you consider yourself? A swarmer, the outboxer, the slugger, or the boxer puncher?
Would you said give me all the options again? One time?
Okay. Out of the 4 styles of boxing, did you consider yourself a swarmer, kind of like Mike Tyson? The outboxer, I would think kind of like Holyfield, the slugger, George Foreman, or the boxer puncher, kind of like Sugar Ray Leonard?
I would definitely be more of a boxer puncher, more boxer than puncher, though. You know what I mean? Because maybe I would have been more of a puncher at the cruiserweight division if I, because I'm big enough. Our size are comparable.
Yeah.
But as a heavyweight, it's got to be boxer puncher. Way
Okay.
more boxer than puncher, because I'm hitting dudes that are almost twice my size. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost sometimes like hitting a wall, but I always made them feel me. Always made them respect me. You know what I mean? So I had a I had a pretty good reputation with my peers,
Yeah.
and it's just unfortunate sometimes you just don't win the big one. You know what I mean? Because that was really what my biggest issue has been as a fighter. But definitely style wise, that's my style.
Okay. And I know we were talking a little bit last night back and forth about a couple of fights last night. Who had the better knockout last night? Was it a Jogba or was it Boots?
Man, I didn't see a Jagba's knockout, but I don't know who did FA Jagba fight again.
He fought Brian Howard.
All right, now it could have been the biggest highlight reel knockout ever. But Boots' knockout was against somebody who was not only a former world champion, but one of the top
Yeah.
guys in the division even now.
He
Top 6, and he annihilated him.
Lipinets, he literally took Lipinets off the canvas when he hit him with that left.
How about that? So think about this.
Yeah.
Lipinets is an elite fighter. He's not no regular guy just coming out and he was a good name. No, he's not just a name. In fact, his name is a little less than what he actually is, or actually might be a lot less because he's kind of overlooked. Only one that beat him was Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
He put my man Lamont Peterson into retirement. Not saying that Lamont was Lamont of the past, and remember, he won a title in 13 fights. So you got to give this dude a lot of credit for who he really is. And for Boots to dominate him, and not only he made it look like he shouldn't even have been in the ring with him. That's how good Boots looked at him. Seriously. So imagine when you talk about level of competition and the way he put him out, and it looked like he might have broke his jaw. I don't know what happened. But he look, Boots is more. He's more than just. Oh, he's so talented. I want to see him when he puts it all together. He put it all together. You don't beat guys like that guy if you're just. Oh, he's talented. No. He's the package. He's that dude. He could take a shot. Look like he could take a shot because Lipinets got him with a good one in there last night. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's still got a fresh chin. He's very good defensively, so he rarely gets hit. So he's okay with that. But he's a monster on the inside. He's a monster on the outside. He's a monster from the southpaw. He's a monster from the right hand. He's tricky. He's quick. He can punch hard as anyone. Man, look, they got a problem with this kid coming forward. I'm telling you. Like,
definitely.
I see so much in this dude, man. He grew up around the sport, and a lot of guys that grew up around it like he did with all his brothers and his dad being involved in it so long and being so good at it. It's crazy, man. It's amazing to see a guy like that in evolving into what he's going to be. And honestly, I don't want to speak too soon, but you look at Terrence Crawford, you look at Earl Spence, you look at these guys, and you start to think like, damn, will they be able to deal with this dude?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like those guys.
Yeah,
do you honestly think it will be like that much different with them? Now, yes, it will be different in a sense that they have different styles. But this is the problem that I have with that. You're not going to be as fast as that.
Yeah.
They're not as tall as he is. They don't have the range he has. Do they have more power? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like he has the package to beat all of them. He has the package. I'm not saying he will. He has what he needs to beat all of them and not beat them like, oh, it's like kind of, no, he's going to like beat them. And it's like, because when you look at Terrence Crawford is really good boxer all over the place. To switch both back and forth just kind of like he can. But I don't think he can do it as dynamically. And I don't think he's as dynamic and as special as a boxer as Boots is on both sides.
Definitely.
Kid don't even know when he's switching. He just does it.
Yeah.
That's just his guy. So it's hard to prepare for somebody like that. It's almost impossible.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? He got too many options.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap up with my last two questions so you can go ahead and get back to doing what you're doing.
Okay.
with all the legends coming out of retirement, putting on exhibition fights, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., Holyfield trying to set up with Tyson, even Oscar De La Hoya coming out, even Julio Cesar Chavez coming out to fight, I forget his name, but they were just talking about it last week. He's fighting his opponent that he fought in the 80s, his son. What is it? Not Marquez, but do
Oh
you?
yeah, I think it might be Juan Manuel.
Yes, Juan Manuel Marquez. Yes, he's going to fight him. Do you see yourself coming out for an exhibition fight if someone come to you and said, "Hey, I want to come and fight you"?
I mean, I don't consider myself of that level. Skill wise, yes. My accomplishments could have met theirs if I had more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And fought maybe a little more within my means. You know what I mean, as far as size is concerned, because it was always going to be difficult. But
Yeah,
when you look at a Roy Jones and Mike Tyson and what they've done in their careers, I mean, I have a pretty good resume of guys that I fought, but I would hate to put myself in that class. You know, I'm being respectful. You know what I'm saying? People, because I know a lot of people, sports writers, be looking at me like, you really? You know what I mean? And that's, but respectfully, I feel like a lot of these guys I could have got in there with in their prime and done well, just like, you know, they done with whoever they fought, and and them being champions and all. But I would absolutely love for the opportunity. What with these fights? I mean, it's just it's an opportunity to get back. I still see myself as live against guys who's competing at the high level. I haven't taken a lot of punishment. I really haven't. I really don't feel any different than I did in my 20s. I mean, look a little different. I don't know, better or worse.
yeah,
I don't know.
we all
But
do. Huh?
I feel fine. I still go in the gym when I'm playing ball or even when I'm sparring, and I don't really feel much different. The hand speed and everything, and the IQ is still there. I'm not, short on any of it
Yeah,
as far as I know. I still would have to obviously get in there and actually compete first to really be able to tell you if I am really still there. But
but
I
you
still
you
feel
say
good, man.
you say you still get in there and spar from time to time, right?
With this pandemic, I haven't done it in a
You have none. Okay.
while. Man, I
Yeah.
would be out the gym for 6 months, not even in the gym for 6 months, coming to spar, feel like nothing changed.
Yeah. So the
I've always
pandemic's hurt the boxing game a lot, pretty much the last year since it's been clearing up. But I know when it first came out, nobody could do anything.
nothing. You can't do anything. You couldn't do anything. So now, even now, getting back, it's a little iffy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And there's still a lot of inconsistencies with training because where are you gonna go? Certain gyms close down, certain ones open. It's too inconsistent. It's hard. I'm used to having a spot,
Yeah.
time, and you know what I mean. And it's just like nothing's there. There's no structure anymore. It's kind of hard to really put everything into in motion like it should. You know?
Gotcha. All right. And my last question I wanted to ask you, since you've been retired from boxing, what's a typical everyday day for Eddie?
Haven't officially retired, but
Okay.
still got to put money on, food on the table and stuff. So I have friends that own a business, and I've been working with them for like about 5, 6 years now. On top of that, I do personal training, fitness and obviously boxing.
Okay.
And it's like I'm busier than I was even when I was fighting like crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly doing something. Then I got family. I'm married with my daughter. I basically I have a daughter, not necessarily biologically my daughter, but still.
Yeah.
So I'm always doing something. Literally every day, I'm doing something, even on my off time, even on vacation. You know what I'm saying? It seems like I'm
Yeah.
doing something. So um, I like that though. I've always been on the run. I've always been busy. And you know what I mean? I feel like as long as I stay healthy, I eat right, I live right. I don't smoke, I don't drink. Really, I don't do any of those things. I'll be fine. And if there's an opportunity for me to ever get back into the ring, I'll take it because I feel like my body's still capable of doing it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Well, why don't you let everybody know how they can reach out to you on social media and get a hold of you and be able to speak with you?
Oh well, on Twitter, obviously, I'm still Force Fast Eddie Chambers on. It's on Fast Eddie Chambers on every platform pretty much that I have, which is there's Twitter, there's Instagram, Facebook. Facebook actually, I have a fan page, Fast Eddie Chambers. The other one is my actual page, which I go back and forth with having too many friends. So it's kind of hard to friend me on there, but it's my actual full first name, Edward, and Chambers. So on Facebook, that's how you can get to me. On Instagram and Twitter is Fast Eddie Chambers.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Not a problem, man. I had a good time with it too, man. I like to talk, as you can tell.